Every now and again, the team from Mannell Motors and ARB Penrith like to take a few customers out for the day to experience some great four-wheel driving. It's also an opportunity for their customers to test out suspension, diffs, winches and other gear fitted to their rigs, with the combined experience of the Mannell Motors and ARB Penrith team on hand to provide advice and guide them through the use of their four-wheel drives. Recently, the team spent a weekend up west of the Blue Mountains, with Mannell Motors customers joining the trip on the Saturday and then repeating the trip for the Penrith ARB customers on Sunday. After a quick chat about the conditions and trip etiquette, it was time to air down to about 25 to 28 psi for today's conditions. Most of the day would be spent in the Walgan State Forest, and the destination was Baal Bone Gap, which borders on and overlooks the Gardens of Stone National Park. The day started on the Baal Bone Gap Road, just opposite the intersection with the Blackfellas Hand Track and the Walgan Road. It's only a short drive out of Lithgow, off the road north to Mudgee, and if you have a decent map, it's very easy to find. The climate was great for four-wheel driving today. Spring temperatures here can get into the 30s, and the weekend temperatures were heading that way, although you never quite know what the weather can bring. Only a week before our trip, the area experienced an extreme cold snap, and the Mannell reconnaissance team had 20 centimetres of snow on the ground. But despite the recent snow, the roads were typically dry and dusty. The plan for today was simple enough: drive in, have some lunch, visit the Baal Bone Gap picnic area, and then drive back out again. Whilst the track into the forest is relatively simple and easy going, there are two sections of the track that provide a bit of a challenge, and we've just hit the first of the two. This part of the track has a small climb that requires some thought on wheel placement and also vehicle alignment, and Nick is leading the way in his 200 series Landcruiser. Mannell Motors and ARB Penrith have a real variety of customers, and along with that comes a real variety in four-wheel drives and equipment fitted. And of course, each of the different makes and models have quite different capabilities, and in this section of the track it is interesting to watch the different lines, different approaches and the abilities of both the drivers and their vehicles. Nowadays, many of the newer cars are fitted with traction control from the factory. This has made the need for limited slip diffs and lock diffs less essential for capable off-roading. But even on these tricky, dusty sections, some of the traction control systems do work better than others. Often though, it comes down to tyres and tyre pressures. Many of the vehicles today are running on standard rubber, which isn't designed for the harder off-road sections.
Go, bit of left hand down, yep. Car straight ahead there. Go. Yep, beautiful.
All of our cars made it to the top of the hill with relative ease, even the ones without any traction control at all. I mentioned before the variety of four-wheel drives that were on this trip. We had a Nissan Patrol, Isuzu Dmax, Ford Ranger, a Holden Colorado, Toyota Landcruiser, a Toyota Prado, both long and short wheelbase, a Nissan Navara, Toyota FJ Cruiser, a Mitsubishi Triton, a Jeep Wrangler, a Toyota Hilux, and even a Daihatsu Vitara. It was good to see such a diverse range of cars. But it was time for a morning tea break and time to take in some of the views over the Nunes Plateau and the valley below. It was time to take another detour, and now we were going along a spur track that takes us out to some more lookouts. This track is pretty easy going, and it's not long before we're at the lookout that will give us a great view of the Nunes Valley below, along with some of the other sites in this area. The rocky outcrops are quite different to your typical four-wheel drive destination, and the area is famous for the high pagoda-style mesas that dominate the landscape. But after a quick lunch stop, we would be on our way again as we are heading to the toughest part of the trip. So here we are. Nick is leading the way to make sure everyone gets to see the best and easiest line down this tricky little drop-off. It's actually a tough bit of road to get right, and the tree that you have to stick close to looms large against the driver's door, making it a little scary for the uninitiated. But with the right line and a little patience, it's easy going. Now it's time for everyone else to have a go. The line down the drop is easiest over near the tree, and whilst we don't want to see any cars getting a bit of bark rash, this is a far safer line than trying to go down the centre of the rock ledge, where it is far steeper and at an angle that could result in a car tipping over. It's far better to take this tricky line than to risk a rollover, or worse still, see someone finish the day with an injury to themselves or their four-wheel drive. The track we are taking allows us to get back up to the highway. However, we plan to turn around and come back out the way we've come in, which means we all know we have to tackle this ledge again on the way out, except going up. But as you can see, everyone is making light work of the ledge and really enjoying the challenge. The bottom of the hill takes us through some lush rainforest-like terrain, and the scenery down here is fantastic. With towering cliffs right beside the track and a road that winds its way down through the ferns and tall gums, it's an awesome four-wheel driving experience. Before we get to our turnaround location, we find that the road has a few large ruts full of water. Despite the dry day, the snowfalls a week earlier have left plenty of water on the road, and each of the drivers are taking different lines and approaches to the ruts. A few of them look a little deep, and there was plenty of depth checking before anyone was keen to have a go going across. After turning around, it was time to head back up the hill and tackle the ledge going up, and the best thing to do is check it out first, before trying it in the car. Essentially, getting up would be a matter of reversing what we had done earlier getting down the ledge, sticking close to the tree and relying on low tyre pressures for extra traction on what is a very slippery piece of rock. It wasn't as easy as going down if you had an open diff, but with the right momentum and a little bit of power, it was a ledge that most of the drivers would find a way to get up, and some a little easier than others. Let's see how the rest of the guys go. Well, that pretty much brings us to the end of our customer day trip with Mannell Motors and ARB Penrith. Unfortunately, not everyone made it up the last ledge unassisted, but one thing's for sure, everyone went home with a smile on their face, having enjoyed a great day of four-wheel driving with a few challenges and some great views along the way.